I wanted to make this video real quick before I forget. I tend to forget sometimes with the updates. Normally I was doing a 200-hour update since I was at like 250, something like that. This time I waited. I want to say after 1,500 hours, not that I didn't feel like I should have felt, or not that I didn't think I was at a level that was underdeveloped because I rushed this process or because I sped run. I think I was exactly where I should have been, because again, I'm comparing testimonies from people who took the natural route and were doing and took 2 years to get to 300 hours or to get to 1,500 hours, and they only did Dreaming Spanish. They're Dreaming Spanish purists. So I'm basing it off of their statistics and what they said they felt like when they were at 1,500 hours, and also what they said they felt like when they're at 1,800 hours. And I did post a video of me speaking. I know it was horrible. It's really for my personal documentation, which is why I didn't post it on any. I didn't post it on anywhere serious, but it's just for me to see it and go back and appreciate and laugh at what I didn't know, and be appreciative of what I did know. And like I said, the biggest point of this whole journey is comprehensible input. It's being able to comprehend, and that was, it was hard for me at first to realize and appreciate and accept that that's all I knew how to do, which was comprehend. But that's what I was asking for. That's what I was studying for, or that's what I was watching and listening for, which was comprehension. So even in that video with the 1,500 hours, yeah, I couldn't say much in response, but I could understand pretty much everything. And that was the most important part for me. Now, can I speak now? Yeah. I mean, way better than that 1,500 hours. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold off on that because I want to make the 2,000-hour video special. My 1 year Spanish learning journey is coming up really soon in July 1st. My 1 year for Dreaming Spanish in August, so I'm going to hit 2,000 well before August. So I'm just going to make a 1 year speaking I'm going to make a 1 year speaking post and reflection post. You know what? No, it's May. So yeah. So by June, by June 1st, or by July 1st, I'll be probably at 2,100 hours. I'll probably make the video at 2,000 hours, just to avoid, getting lost in the hour collections. But so I'll be coming up in. Let's see, I'm at 1,800 hours now, and I'll talk about what that's like for me right now in a little bit. But I would say I should be at 2,000 and 200 hours. Let's just shoot for July 1st, or at least June 20th. Let's shoot for that. That's reasonable. Anyway, so how do I feel? 1,800 hours. Where am I at? What have I been doing? I would say first and foremost, when other posters or other people who've gotten this point say that 1,800 hours is around the sweet spot, or around when you start feeling and having control of the language in the way that the Dreaming Spanish map says you should have control over it by 1,500 hours. That's where I'm at. Like I said, whatever, I don't know what it says on top of my head as far as the map goes, but whatever the map says, yeah, that's pretty much where you're at now, where you can start actually forming conversations and being a functional, active member of society. You're not perfect, you're not fluid by no means at all, but your grasp of the language is extremely higher. It's notably higher than when you get to 1,000. And it's also understanding wise and understanding how to speak is a lot more noticeable at 1,800 hours. What I've been doing and focusing on lately, I have been doing a little grammar study. Obviously, I'm not sitting down and writing anything. I still don't believe in that because I just don't have the patience for it, nor the time. But I do watch occasionally 20, 30 minutes here and there of subjunctive videos and stuff like that, and a little more of the advanced stuff, just so I kind of have an idea, because I've been seeing these words and I've been seeing the words and their subjunctive forms for months, or hearing them in subjunctive forms. I never really knew how to reproduce it or why it was the way it was. You know, you start to get a feel of when to use it a little bit more at this time. It's still not perfect, and I would say it's going to take me about 300 more hours to kind of feel a lot more comfortable with subjunctives. I think so. But, so I've been watching those videos just to feel a little more confident when trying to use them. But when you get to 1700 hours, or when I get to 1700 hours, that's when I started trying that. And I also have begun speaking. Now, instead of doing the traditional route and trying to, you know, get a teacher or go to Worlds Cross, I'm not going back to Worlds Cross. I've decided. I don't think it's necessary. And I'll explain why in a second. But spending $200 a month is just not. For the type of conversations that we're going to be having, because their program isn't built off of comprehensible input, it's mostly built off of teaching you how to learn Spanish. And I'm already learning Spanish, and I already know Spanish. Like, I won't say I know Spanish, but I don't need to be taught how to learn Spanish. I think the method that we're choosing now is the most effective. And for me, because I'm speed running, I see results very fast. You know, I get it if you're taking a little more time and, you know, you're not doing 6 hours a day. I understand that. You know, people got to do what they got to do to feel comfortable. For me, you know, because I do so many hours, yeah, there's those lows. Yeah, I hit the time where I feel like I'm not learning anything. I remember at 17 hours, I was like, bro, I don't know if I'm learning anything. And then around 1760, 1770, I'm like, okay, I kind of have a good hold on this. So, you know, it's one of those things where you're going to go up and down. This journey's going to stay like that. And I know it's going to be like that for a while. My plan is to go up to 3,000 hours. And I'm going on a trajectory. Again, I have been tailoring off of it. I would not say I'm exactly at 6 hours a day like I was maybe the first 7-8 months. And that is only because I'll tell you why. Really, I'll tell you why. It's a lot harder to hit those hours when you have to start reading and talking. Because for me, my mind already accepted just listening and watching. And it's easy doing that. But I also realized I need to read. So I've been reading a lot more. And I want to talk a little more about that later. Maybe I'll do a little more talking about that in 2,000 hours. But the reading is so important. I wish I did it a lot earlier, honestly. I've been reading the Lightning Thief series in Spanish. I had the audio book, so I've gone through 2 books already. So I'm probably at maybe 140,000 words just for that series in particular. And then with the other books I've read, I'm probably sitting at 180,000 words read, more than likely. Not enough. I want to get to that million words. That's where I'm at. That's what I'm shooting for before I hit 3,000 hours. I think at that point, there should be no doubt about me being fluent. But realistically, I think I'll be fluent, or at least fluent enough to speak at maybe a B2 level in maybe 3 months. Really, it's not until that much longer. Realistically, once I hit to like 2,300 hours, I think 23, 24, I think I'm gonna be in a really strong speaking position, especially if I keep reading. So I'll probably at that point have read 500,000 words. I think I'll be at a good spot. But anyway, enough on that. Those are just kind of things I was thinking about and realizing the reading is important. I'm gonna keep doing that. Speaking practice again. Why am I not doing Worlds Across? Why won't I go back to Worlds Across or any of those platforms? It's just too expensive. And really, I found ChatGPT, and you know, for $20 a month, I get a whole hour a day to speak to him or it, whatever. And you can do the you can do the settings how you want. You can ask them if just do all simulations today, or you know, let's have a casual conversation, or make sure you correct me every time we talk. So it give me a better form of saying X, Y, and Z. Or I want you to have a north or a frontera accent, you know, northern Mexican accent. Or I want you to have it. You play around with it, but the point is, you know, those hour conversations. I've only done 4 or 5 now, and honestly, I've noticed a huge difference. There's no doubt. And the chat, you know, maybe the chat's programmed good or not, but it always says, hey, your improving very well. It's very noticeable. That's all. It always says that. So I believe it too. You know, saying that it's noticeable for me as well. So that's why I say by the time I hit 2,000 hours, I'm gonna do the whole thing in Spanish. And it's gonna be a really a really good moment for me because I'm gonna know that I didn't mess up this method. I think that's something that a couple people on the Reddit are waiting for, to see if I messed up because I sped run this or whatever. I know I didn't mess up. I think it all counts. It all goes to the same mechanism. You might feel more confident with certain words, or you might feel more confident with certain easy phrases early on because you've been watching so much early content. But I've been exposing myself to a variety of words and variety of vocabulary for a long time, and we're all on the same level. I think we're all on the same level, same pace. So I don't see the difference. And that's just how it is. I don't think I'm a particular case or anything. I have attention issues and attention disorder, so I'm not going to sit here and say it's just because I just hyper focus. Like, nah, I space out my mind. I daydream while I'm listening sometimes. So and I record all the time. I'm not the type of person to sit here and not record because I didn't listen to 10 minutes. Like, nah. That's going to my overall message, overall hour count. So. Again, I'm excited, and I will show you guys the progress at 2,000 hours. Again, wait for that. That'll be within a month, or in a month. In a month. Ugh, right? 200 hours in a month. I don't think I want to burn myself out like that. Like I said, end of June, that 2,000 hours will have been completed. Because like I said, I am not burning myself out. So, I'll talk to you guys later. I'll give you guys an update, and see you then. Bye.